Yeah.
We'll call this meeting to order. Would you please rise for a moment of solemn prayer, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Slide up to public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We'd like to remind all speakers that we'd like you to please state your name and your municipality of residence, and you will be given 3 minutes to speak. First signed up on the list is Reverend David Walters.
Thank you all for giving me a few minutes. I only have a couple of things. And my name is Reverend David Walters. I'm with the Madison Hospice here in Butler County, and that's where I'm representing. My main reason for being here is to honor the Butler County veterans, Butler County volunteers that we have, not just for a Medicis hospice, but for the VNA hospice. A lot of my friends at the Butler Veterans Administration that I volunteered with. It's an invaluable service that they do for us. They don't get paid for it, they don't get gas mileage, they just go and visit sick patients that are just wanting a friend in the nursing homes and in their private homes. And I just want to honor them today. I want to thank them for what they do because they do it out of the goodness of their hearts. And the other thing I wanted to bring here too is that Medicis is a We Honor Veterans partner, and so is a few of the other agencies in Butler County. And as part of that, I started a cell phone for soldiers drop-off site at our place next to Kmart. What that is if anybody has a cell phone that they're not using anymore, that you can bring that to me. And once I get so many pounds of them, I mail them in to Cell Phone for Soldiers. And if they're still a usable cell phone, they will put minutes on them and then send them to Afghanistan, Iraq, or wherever our troops are, so that our troops can call home to their family members. If they're not still usable, they can still be parted out, and the parts get sold, and they send that into money for cards, for calling them. So your cell phones, your old cell phones are valuable, especially for our troops that are serving in the country. And really, that's about all I had. My contact information, we're at 240 Pullman Square, Suite 255, and my number is 724-431-4170. And we would appreciate any phones that you can bring us. And anybody out there that has a heart that wants to be a volunteer, you can contact me at that number or at that location. And I'd also like to remind everybody about the Relay for Life that's going to be taking place here on July 20th and 21st. Help us fight cancer, guys. If you can show up, wherever you are, whatever you're doing that day, come on out and walk the track. Bring your kids and try to do something good for this cancer battle that we're all having.
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Could you please repeat your address and phone number slowly so the people can hear it again?
Again, the address is 240 Pullman Square, Suite 255. And we are 2 doors down from Kmart.
Thank you. I'm glad to know about that because I have several old cell phones that I've been wondering what to do with them, and I don't like to just throw them away. So I'll bring it back.
It's a worthy program, and we're helping to take care of our veterans who give so much.
Thank you.
Thanks again to the volunteers of Butler County.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Larry Schwartzwalder? It does say yes here. All right, next. Peggy Abersol?
Morning, Commissioners. Peggy Epperson, Middlesex Township. I just have a few announcements. One of the earliest forms of a thriving economy was the barter system. Today we have flea markets. Flea markets are a good way for people to spring house clean, out with the old and in with the new, and a good way to get exercise. Flea markets are a good way to keep our local economy going and thriving. In our Butler area, we currently have 2 flea markets. One is an indoor-outdoor flea market at Clearview that's on Saturdays and Sundays. Another is the Pioneer Drive-In, which is Sundays, which is an outdoor only. In Lindora, the Vagabond Center would like to start up a weekend day flea market for both indoors and outdoors. They need vendors, and if you are interested in selling, contact the center at 724-282-7695 for information. And also Southern Butler County at Flea Bay, which is located on Route 8 across from Ibis Tech, is wanting to start up on Saturday mornings. Vendors are needed for that spot as well. I believe it's $10 a spot. You can contact Joy at 724-903-0900. Remember, one person's junk is another person's treasure, so get out there and try to find your treasure. Second, Big Butler Fair starts June 28th to July 6th for 9 days. Third announcement on June 27th at 8 p.m. at the historic Harmony Town Diamond. It's going to be the first of the summer series where the Allegheny County Brass Band will be playing. You need to bring your own chairs, enjoy the event, and also I believe it's going to conclude with the fireworks show. My last announcement is this Sunday, for those who like vintage, classic, and muscle cars, from 10 in the morning till 7 p.m. It's going to be the 19th Cruise-a-Palooza on Main Street in Butler. It's going to be sponsored by the Rodfathers, so come out and have a nice weekend.
Bill May.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Bill.
I'm Bill May, resident of the city of Butler. And I'm here to announce a special program I will be presenting tomorrow night, Thursday, June 20th, at 7 p.m. in the Carousel Shelter of Alameda Park, being sponsored by Butler County Parks and Recreation. As many residents who have been in the Butler area for generations know, Alameda Park was an amusement park in Butler from 1901 to 1943, filled with rides such as the merry-go-round, Ferris wheel, and roller coaster. It had a boating lake and swimming pool and the largest dance pavilion in western Pennsylvania, where many famous performers of national significance performed, such as Louis Armstrong and Tommy Dorsey's orchestra. The program is 60 minutes long. It contains never-before-seen photographs, video clips, and entertaining tales of those summer days and nights at Alameda Park in the summer times of the early part of the 19th century. So again, the program is Alameda Park, its history, Butler's Disneyland, presented Thursday, June 20th at 7 p.m. at the Carousel Shelter, and the best part is that it is free. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Bill.
And thanks for carrying on the history. I think your dad started that, didn't he? Collecting history and...
Yeah, he was a big influence on me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He was chairman of our 200th anniversary for Butler County. I had the privilege of appointing him to that, I believe, back in 1998.
Oh, you're thinking of Dick May.
That's your uncle.
No, that's no relation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
You said 7 o'clock tomorrow.
7 o'clock tomorrow night at the Carousel Shelter.
Okay, thank you.
Larry Rogers.
Morning. I'm Larry Rogers from Penn Township, and I'm here today to ask you if you are capable of rearranging some priorities. I'm going to give you this. Am I allowed to approach here?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm unarmed. Here's a bunch for you. These are brochures. I was part of the original group that started the Glade Run Lake Conservancy. At least I hope I was a little helpful when we started that program, getting the tax-exempt corporation and that started. But anyhow, I've been a supporter from the beginning. And if you're not familiar with Glade Run Lake, I'm sure you should be by now. It's a lake down in Middlesex Township that was drained because of a faulty spillway. The Conservancy is going to attempt to raise funds to have that spillway repaired. The estimated cost is $4 million. The original federal grant for that property requires that it be kept in a pristine, conservative condition and never be developed for commercial use. So we're stuck with a swamp down there now, mud, and these folks are trying to raise money to get it done. We know that your budget is either in the final stages or close to being final, and we would like you to rearrange some priorities in your budget to consider Glade Run Lake Conservancy. At this point, Middlesex Township has been tremendously helpful. They've donated $10,000 in cash, plus meeting facilities, and all kind of ancillary help, emails and so forth. The Westview Sportsman Club donated $5,000. There's been groups of kids down there that have collected over $5,000 in various projects. And we thank them. And we thank the Commissioners for their donation that they gave also. It's much appreciated. But we want more. And I'm sure you've heard that many times since you've been in office. We want more. Well, what we want you to do is take away from somebody else and give it to us. We need it more, and you're going to get a great payback. This is a great investment for the county because you're going to get a 100% return on your investment. Instead of a mud swamp, you're going to get a pristine lake with fish and bass and birds and bird watching and nature trails. Probably we could use more of that stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. We appreciate that. Our budget is done for this year, but we will certainly consider it in our next year's budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say this, Larry. Fortunately for us, we don't have to take from others. We're blessed with Marcellus Shale money, so we just have to delegate it out properly.
Well, we don't want all of that.
Okay, you don't want all of it? Oh, okay. But we do have to use tax dollars for housing, from real estate, and we don't have to do that. We just have to make a decision on where that money goes from Marcellus Shale, so thanks.
I didn't use it. Can I just make one comment? I didn't use all my time. I think a good idea is if you could get the county employees involved. There's 800 county employees. If you could get creative and get some kind of program going where the employees would donate X amount of dollars and then the county would match it, something creative like that. There's all kinds of ways to get people to give you money. You don't have to beat it out of them.
Mark Krenitsky.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mark.
I kind of liked it better when I got to chat at the end of the meeting. I talked whatever you gentlemen talked about, what I thought was interesting. I really didn't see anything last meeting, but that's okay. I'm working on buying some abandoned houses in Butler. I just wanted to say, we were good to have you. I told Mr. McCary about this briefly. We had 5 of them, and it started to look pretty good. Me and a bunch of friends, we buy houses, we rent them out. One guy actually lives in it. The only exception is we have one, a bank still has possession of it. That's kind of been one of our frustrations in the city has been the banks, quite honestly. They will sit on our property and not do a thing. Don't mow grass, don't do anything. And it's frustrating. Reverend, yes, we mentioned it. The Relay for Life, he did not mention, it's at the Butler Farm Show grounds again this year. It starts at noon on Saturday, goes to noon on Sunday. You have pretty good food there. I did the midnight to 8 a.m. shift one time, which was quite interesting. That's it, I think I have. Like I said, I'm not used to talking earlier. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's all for public comment.
All right, we have minutes from our June 3rd agenda setting meeting and our June 5th public meeting. We have a motion to approve those minutes. I'll make the motion. Is there a second? I will second it. Is there discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss this on page 9 of the actual minutes of the main meeting.
This is the June 5th meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, page 9 at the top.
Okay.
It says right here at the top bottom bottom of the first paragraph. It says, Solicitor English advised him not to speak about it, and it says Commissioner Eckstein read from a report. It was only from the internal investigation. That never happened. I didn't read from the report. I never read from the report. I read from my attorneys came up with what a version of the report. I did not read from that report. I guarantee you that. That is absolutely false.
Okay.
I'd like to change that.
How would you like to have it worded, Jim?
From an edited version, summarized edited version of the report.
Okay. You have that, Maria?
I do.
Okay. Are there any other corrections or additions?
No, that's it.
If not, could we, or I guess we did have a motion in a second, could we vote on that to approve them as amended? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved as amended.
We have no old business this morning, Mr. Chairman, and no proclamations.
Okay.
So proceeding to new business, the first item under the Prothonotari's office, Prothonotary Anna Walters.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lana.
I am requesting Commissioner approval to approve a contract with Iron Mountain to check random 9 rolls of 35mm film. This film was processed before there were standards. So I would like this film checked at Iron Mountain to see if it is correct and that we have not lost any information on it. If there is a problem, then I will take the necessary steps to correct it. But I would appreciate your consideration of signing the contract with Iron Mountain, and I thank you.
I'll make, or you made the motion.
We have a motion, and Dale has seconded the motion. Is there discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order, I don't believe that Mrs. Walters is able to make a motion in Commissioners' meeting. It's for the board to make. I'd like to revise that.
Okay. All right, then we'll back up. Dale has
Sorry.
made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. We all make mistakes.
I didn't know about it either. I thought Mike Sloop could make the motion.
That's only a salary.
And salary board.
Oh, on salary board.
They're a member of the salary board, you're fine to come up.
That's
Okay.
Under Court Administration, Tom Holman.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Tom.
I have 3 things for your consideration this morning. First, I would like to report to you that in February, we were asked to submit a concept paper to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, along with a lot of other people. They looked at our proposal and have invited us now to make application for what we're entitling the Offender Housing and Rehabilitation Assistance Project. Today, I'm asking for your permission to make application for that potential grant. It will be $250,000 spread over 2 years for the purpose of providing startup housing costs for individuals leaving the Butler County Prison who have no other way of getting things started again, particularly focusing on those with mental health and drug and alcohol issues. So I'm asking your permission to make that application.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion. Tom, I have one question. How long is this grant good for?
2 years.
Okay.
So we would anticipate seeing $125,000 in each of 2 years.
All right. Thank you. You have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Marty Fleischer as grant writer on this, and this is rarely needed in Butler County. And I'd like to commend the courts for working on this. And Marty Fleischer, we don't know for sure yet. It's not in the bag, but we're a good ways to be there, and it's really important to keep down recidivism at the prison, to give somebody a start. But if you just kick them out the door, this way people will have a start to get back. If they alienated all their, this happens a lot of time. You get sick of them. You alienate your relatives and friends. And this way, if you have that problem, this will get you back out and get a start again. And I think that's very important. Thank you very much.
And if I can just observe, this is a wonderful example of interagency cooperation, the courts working with the Department of Human Services and with Catholic Charities to make all this work for everyone. So that's the plan. And that leads me then to my second request.
Well, we have to vote on that one first.
Oh, I just thought you were so excited about it.
Stimulated.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Then my second request is for a pass-through agreement with Catholic Charities to provide the casework management portion of this grant if it's approved. So I'm asking for your approval of that pass-through contract.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second. I'll second it. Is there discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question for Tom. They do have a lot of experience in this area now, is that correct?
That's correct. They're providing this service on a limited basis, not through mental health and drug and alcohol. This just will enable us to expand kind of what we're doing to those people stepping out of prison.
Okay.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
And then finally, we did receive notice this week that we have been approved for the second year of the Family Group Decision-Making Grant. You've given us permission to make that application several meetings ago. What I need today is a pass-through grant for CCR for the provision of casework management services pursuant to this grant. In this case, the money that we received from the grant is passed through to CCR to make the project work. I'll ask for your approval of that pass-through agreement.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's all I have.
I'm sorry, no, I meant to say aye. Yeah, I was working on the next thing, sorry. Thanks for asking me aye. I was going with the first one.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next, under Facilities and Operations, John Campbell.
Morning.
Morning, John.
I have today for you a agreement with Allegheny Lock and Safe for the WayPack system. It is a data conversion and one-year maintenance agreement. Allegheny is a rep for Synergistics. They would take it from Windows XP and they'd be able to run it on our Windows 7.
I'll make,
For the amount of $7,284.
Sorry.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Permission to be excused.
You may be excused. Thank you, John.
Next, under Emergency Services, Steve Weishaus.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Steve.
Today I bring for your consideration approval of a price quote from Interact, our CAD system, computer-aided dispatch system, for a training class. 4 days, on-site, 2 people, $6,000. I ask for your approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Is there discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Next, under Area Agency on Aging, Beth Harold.
Morning, Beth. Beth, before you speak, I would like to congratulate you. I got this notice that you were appointed by the governor to the Alzheimer's Disease State Planning Committee. That's a plus for Butler County to have you serve in that.
It's a very
Congratulations.
talented organization that puts me, so I'm very proud to be on it and representing our county. So thank
Okay.
you. I have 2 items for your approval and then 1 announcement. The first is the Senior Center lease agreement. I'm requesting the board's approval to amend our lease with Tanglewood Center for the Butler Senior Center. The Tanglewood Center has agreed to $1,200 per month rental fee for the current rooms being used by the agency-sponsored center. The agency has often held special events at Tanglewood when we use other rooms outside the rooms that are currently occupied. This lease will allow Tanglewood to charge the agency up to $150 per special event held in a room outside of the rooms currently used. The terms of the lease are July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2014. There are no county funds involved, and payment for the rent is out of our aging block grant.
We have a motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I would like to say that this is about half of what we have in the tank, so this is a plus that you were able to renegotiate this, bring it down in line with the other lease agreements with the other senior centers. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, the second item is nomination of Mary Ann Vandoy to our advisory board. The nominating committee of the advisory board met on May 17th and recommended Mary Ann Vandoy to fill a vacant seat on the board. At the May 21st, 2013 May advisory board meeting, it was agreed to recommend to the Board of Commissioners approval for Mary Ann Vandoy for a position on our advisory board for the Butler County Area Agency on Aging. Mrs. Vandoy worked at the Dunbar Center serving neighbors of all ages, including grandparents raising grandchildren, and she was a caregiver for our father, served as an AmeriCorps member, and volunteers at our church and in her community.
Do you have a motion to approve this
I'll make the
appointment?
motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you. The third is just an announcement. The Zillionople Senior Center, as of the end of the month, will no longer be serving meals out of their senior center. There will be transportation from that senior center to the Evans City Senior Center, which is approximately 5 miles from that center, or to the Cranberry Center, which is a little over 6 miles, through the BART service at no charge to those individuals. The individuals in Luther Court in the high-rise will have activities 2 times per week where they can attend the activities from the Pazavant retirement community. We will also give them the option to be screened for home-delivered meals or to be put onto the Zillionople home-delivered meal program. This decision was made when the Department of Agriculture did an inspection, and the portable hand washing unit that we had down there for the past at least 6 years no longer passed inspection, and a hard plumbed sink needs to be installed. So we are looking at other options at this point for that center, and increasing the Center Without Walls activities in that community, such as working with area churches, the library, possibly with the Strand Theater, looking to have activities for the seniors in that area outside of the center.
So we hope this is only a temporary inconvenience, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Beth, I have a question.
Yes.
I've expressed my concerns before, and I voted no on the rental rate on the senior center. As you know this, we have a abysmally low rate of seniors to participate and utilize the senior center in Butler, and there's got to be lots of seniors. My question is, have we done anything, Lutheran Services runs that, have we done anything to take action to increase if something doesn't work, we should fix it?
And that's what we're looking at, increasing the Center Without Walls activity. And that's a directive from Secretary Duke of the Department of Aging, because it's an increasing trend across the state for individuals 60 years and older not to be utilizing the centers as much as the lunch program and the activities, due to having to work longer, raising their grandchildren, not being able to go towards the daytime hours or during those set events. So we are looking at other activities such as book clubs, kayaking clubs, walking clubs, bicycle clubs, utilizing other services in the community, because probably 5-10 years from the current model that we have is not going to be really what's going to be the needs of the seniors in the community. So we are looking at revitalizing our program and looking at a majority of Center Without Walls activities for the County of Butler.
But I meant that specific program. Some of the agencies are doing okay. I meant that specific one. Do we have to wait 5 years to increase the participation?
It's a countywide initiative at all of our centers.
Huh?
It's a countywide initiative in all 11 of our senior centers to increase the participation and to meet the needs of those seniors in that community.
But I'm concerned about that being a problem center, and we should address it. I'm just asking it. I mean, I don't.
As I stated, we are addressing it in all of our centers.
Okay, so we're not. If there's a problem center, we're not doing anything about it, I guess.
We are addressing all of our centers, because I consider the attendance rate at all of the centers not to be at the level that I would like it to be. So we're looking to see what the consumers that we serve in our county, what services they're in need of, and what activities they would like to attend.
It is a countywide problem. For
It
instance,
is.
I think the Bruin Center, you only get 5 or 6
Right.
people there.
It's
so-
not just a countywide problem, it's a statewide problem. So that's why we're looking at it. And many of the reasons are that seniors are working longer. They're working into their 70s, some into their 80s. They're taking apart raising their grandchildren so that their children can work, and they're not able to come to the center activities when we have them. So we're looking at more supper clubs, developing some golf outings for our seniors, developing activities, working with faith-based organizations, volunteer fire departments, working to maybe enhance their activities, more pulling seniors in to develop that friendships and that socialization.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, thank you.
Next, under information technology, Bob Moy.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Bob. Morning.
I'm here to ask for your approval for a professional services contract with Simplified Services Corporation, doing business as Land Tech Computer Services. Back in 2008, they installed an upgrade to our Citrix server, which is a remote access system. And we need to upgrade that again since 2008 was a while ago. And so we're bringing them back into their upgrade. The contract is for $135 an hour with a not to exceed rate of $1,620. I ask your approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Is there discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, I'd like to say this, Jack McMullen's not here today, but he reminded me that his tenure is really long, and he was reminiscing a little, and he said about how important you are to the county and how bad it was before you got here. So when I saw you come up today, I got a smile on my face. I mean, Jack knew that. I wasn't here before, but we're glad for what your department does, okay? Because a lot of us can't. We need your help. Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, under the bridge program, Kevin Gray.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this morning I'll be asking for your approval of the resolution and the supplemental agreement for the Send Bridge right-of-way. Supplemental agreement will, this agreement will have the state and federal government pay 95% of the right-of-way cost for the Send Bridge. And the resolution is just a signature, who's going to be allowed to sign the document.
We have a
I'll
motion.
make that motion. Okay.
We got a second. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the second one, I'll be asking for your approval of a settlement agreement with Gertrude Hartman and Marina Kudzinski for the right-of-way and the attorney's fee of the Send Bridge for approximately $12,500.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion? And this, we just agreed that it's the state's paying
State and federal government pays, be paying 95%.
95% of this.
Mm-hmm.
The county's only paying around $625.
Something like that.
All right, those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin.
Next, under the CDBG program, Wendy Leslie.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We're asking your approval to enter into a cooperation agreement between the County of Butler and the Butler County Housing Authority for spot blight removal. This agreement is for the 2012 county CDBG funds of $50,000 and also the anticipated 2013 and 2014 CDBG funding of $50,000 for each year. So that's a total of $150,000 over the 3-year period. No funds will be spent on blight within a CDBG entitlement community, and the anticipated funds will only be if the county receives allocations in those years large enough for the $50,000 to fall into the 30% compliance rule for spot blight as per the guidelines of the grant. All CDBG rules and regulations are to be followed in the removal of spot blight. Solicitor Mike English has reviewed the agreement, and these are counties' CDBG funds. There's no county dollars involved, so we're asking for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
Our first item under Commissioners is the approval of a memorandum of understanding with First Energy Solutions for their Friends and Family program in exchange for the county's cooperation in providing residents' addresses and so forth for First Energy Solutions to avail them of options for their electric generation costs. The county will receive an administration fee of $10, half of which will go to the municipality involved. We'd like your approval.
Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
discussion. I'd like to say that we're not endorsing any program of any power company. We're simply making available the list of our property owners in Butler County so that they may be contacted and presented with the possibility of having a much lower rate through this program. We're only doing this to try and help the residents of Butler County find the lowest rates possible for their electric service. Any other discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Our next item, first I'd like to announce that an executive session of the Board of Commissioners was held on June 17, 2013 for the purposes of discussing a real estate transaction. And the resulting board action will be in front of you now, which is approval to enter into an agreement to purchase property in Cranberry Township for the construction of an office for the magisterial district judge.
And the amount of that, we should put that in there, should we not?
Yes, I'll turn that over to the solicitor, Solicitor English.
This is, as the commissioners are aware, and as we announced on Monday, an executive session was held on Monday afternoon regarding this property and this purchase. Last Thursday, I received confirmation that the proposed sellers had signed a real estate contract on a price that I felt was acceptable and that we discussed on Monday afternoon. The property is tax map parcel number 13-4F 46-37. It's located on Marshall Road in Cranberry Township. The sales price is $96,500. Pursuant to the county code, the commissioners are required to consult with the professional, at least two professionals, to obtain information as to the fair market value of the property. The contract is written such that it is contingent upon our office being able to confirm the fair market value in compliance with the county code. This property is located in Cranberry Township, and the intended plan here is that it would be developed and a magisterial district judge's office will be located on it. The county currently spends almost $75,000 annually in rent for the current Cranberry district judge office. It's a significant expenditure. This is likely to lead both in the short term to savings, but also in the long term to significant savings for the county. The cost of rent in Cranberry Township is very high, and certainly only going to rise over time. So the county owns some of its magistrates' offices and rents others. This one will be designed based upon the one in Slippery Rock Township, which the county also owns, and is something that in both the short and long run, again, is going to lead to significant savings for the county. So we would ask your approval.
Do we have a motion to this effect?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion?
Yes, I'd like to say that I think Dale tried doing this in his last term and it didn't go through. I think this was when I first came here, I was shocked about what we were paying in rent, and I think we're really moving forward here. I'm very proud of this. And Jerry Andre, the township manager of Cranberry, he helped us, and Bill had somebody help us look for property too. But Jerry Andre, they're bending over backwards, making it easy for us, because they know it's better for all of us. So I'd like to thank Jerry for helping us with that, and I think we're really doing a step forward here to save money. I mean, it shouldn't have been done before, and Dale tried on doing it, couldn't. So I'm glad that we're able to do something about this issue.
I did some rough numbers, and this is, our solicitor said we're paying about $75,000 a year rent. And I projected the cost of this facility to be in the neighborhood of $700,000 with the property and water retention and so forth. If we amortize $700,000 at today's interest rates over 15 years, the payment would be about $62,000 a year. So we're saving $13,000 a year for the first 15 years. If that's the cost could vary somewhat. But after 15 years, then we would own it, and we would be saving full cost of the rent, and I'm sure the rent would go up down there with $75,000 a year, 15 years, would probably be much higher. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all we have for new business.
That wasn't I, too, I was loud. That was I.
All right. We have a motion to approve the budgetary transfers.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Can I ask a question here?
Yes.
Can we just read these and then do them unless there's a problem with one of them, do them all together?
I think we have to do them individually, don't we?
I've always wondered that, it just doesn't seem.
Well, we'll ask our solicitor to research that for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that you're probably, I'd be inclined to do them individually. I think it'd be cleaner for the purposes of the record.
Okay, do we have,
again.
did we vote on that?
Yes, you did.
Okay. A motion to approve the new hires.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved.
Can I say one thing? I have people ask me if we have all these new hires. These new hires, they mean to replace people that were here. We have to have a salary board. I had a couple people ask me about this, and I'd like to qualify this. We don't hire new people at every one of these meetings. They're for replacing people that are here, or maybe somebody that's out temporarily. So we have to have salary board action. So the only thing we're doing here is filling, and a lot of the row officers do it, and that's their, they're allowed to do that, okay? So I just wanted to clarify that. We're not hiring all these new people every.
That's a good point. The commissioners cannot create positions, and it's done by the salary board. We are only approving replacements for retirees or people who quit and move on to other positions. A motion to approve the travel requests.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. A motion to approve the requisitions.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A motion to approve the check register.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Reports. Jim?
This is, some people could think this is easy for me. A lot of these, this is, depending on what I speak about, my report today is on when we abolished the jury commissioners. And it's not easy for me to, and some of these, and this is especially not easy, because I believe in the Constitution and I believe in the job the jury commissioners did. So I'd like to read first a letter I wrote Commissioner McCarrier and Pinkerton when I came back from Harrisburg. It states, I'd like to speak about the vote to abolish the jury commissioners on May 23rd, 2013. You voted to abolish the position after a constitutional election was held, which I believe is blatantly illegal, no matter what our solicitor says, has advised you. I hope Mike English is well versed in constitutional law because he's going to need the expertise. I believe we will be sued, and this type of case is something the ACLU is just looking for as a test case. I believe you have mired us in a very expensive federal suit or a lawsuit. Commissioners, as you were advised by Larry Thompson on May 23rd, the Commonwealth Court will be hearing the motion on injunctive relief regarding all 67 counties on the issue of abolishing the jury commissioner. I believe it would be prudent for you to have tabled the motion as I requested until the appellate courts have decided the issue on the merits of the case. Bill wanted the appellate courts to decide the issue from the last time the motion to abolish the office of jury commissioner was discussed in November 2012. What has changed? My second point is that Dale Pinkerton drove these actions when he should have been abstaining from the vote. He's suing me in a civil case before the courts, and he wants to have the president judge providing oversight in picking the jury for trial. The same judge who held a press conference publicly slandering me and declaring that we needed an armed guard in the commissioner's office for my propensity of violence. Now, Dale Pinkerton is spearheading the campaign to have Judge Durr oversee the jury pool selection process. Have you ever heard of Luzerne County? These actions don't passed the smell test, and fast I smell a dead rat. Dale's promoting this, and he's got a case to have the judge pick the jury. I don't agree with it, okay? Now I'd like to expound on Dale Pinkerton's dedication and zeal having the jury commissioners removed from office after a democratically held election in the United States of America. I do not have a crystal ball, but I have a theory on just how far this county government has regressed into an unethical abyss. Here's my timeline. You know, I came here as a commissioner on January 2nd, 2012. Jim Exline is sworn into office. Dale Pinkerton and Bill McCary just know the electorate made a mistake. Our candidate for Democratic seat, Jerry Johnson, affectionately known by us as JJ, their goal we can work on that in a public demean and degrade Jim Eckstein any way we can. He's not qualified. Jim Eckstein's not qualified. He's not qualified for the SBC. He's not qualified for the building committee. He's not qualified to be in our league. Doesn't Eckstein understand that concept? Okay? Then on February 12th of that year, Jim Eckstein makes public management going to 4-star hotels and resorts at $150 to $250 a night. He makes that public. And some employees are buying more hotel rooms than there are people going. I made that public. Then the number of people going on the trip. He exposed employees wanting new cars. 3 new cars that are 4 years old and 50,000 miles on each. I've got an idea. Let's accuse them of and retaliate. I think that will get him removed from office because Judge Durr can appoint a guy, or JJ, to the voter's mistake. I mean, that's what they come in here and say all the time. That should be dissolve the elections and have Judge Durr appoint somebody else to do a good job. Then why do we have a constitution, or why do we have elections? Just do away with it like we did the jury commissioners. The Constitution of our democracy, we can achieve our goal and win control at any cost. Our friends Ron Bonacker and the owner of Butler Eagle, John Weiss III, will be glad to help trash them out. They realize the voters made a mistake. The voters made a mistake. Let's get them out of here. April 2012, Plan B. If that doesn't work, let's sue Eckstein for making public the AG's office investigation under Dale Pinkerton is here. And it's true. I've got an idea. Let's say Jim Eckstein did it. Really, Judge Yeager did it, but they're blaming me on doing it and suing me right now. And I'm up to $35,000 in money. $35,000 this court case has cost me, and Dale's probably over there grinning. He loves it. We're gonna make an example out of him for not doing, not doing what he's told. Who cares? We will just say Jim Eckstein influenced Judge Yeager's decision. Really? I don't even know Judge Yeager. How about the cost of the case? All they had to do was vote. I asked for sovereign immunity. That's a state law. It'd have me covered for my court costs. This is a county problem. Okay, it was a county. No problem. We can just vote against him in receiving sovereign immunity, and our solicitor will back us up. It will cost Eckstein tens of thousands, like I mentioned, to come up to $35,000 with no end in sight. And I didn't even do it in the first place. Judge Yeager did it. I got 4 judges here doing this in the county, and they're going to try me, and now they're picking my jury. What if the slander suit about Eckstein doesn't work? Don't worry, we have the judges. Well, like I said, we had 4 Butler County judges involved in this case, and they're trying me. Now they're picking my jury. 2 sitting commissioners are involved. I'm the only minority, and I'm the only Republican or Democrat. Okay? No problem. Our friends at the Butler Eagle will spin the truth any way we want. They'll just write and spin whatever we want. They control the media. Now, Dale Pinkerton's friend Ron Bonacker did it right there in the general manager. November 2012, Butler County Commissioner Bill McCary reaches out to President Judge Tom Durr about a security issue in the executive branch of our county. What is the issue? The issue is Jim Eckstein. He's not behaving, not doing what we're telling him to do. I feel he might lose his temper and become violent. So he has done. So the question is, has he done anything in his past? No, not a thing. Nothing concrete, nothing. They just tell they have a propensity of violence. No problem. I'll order, Judge Durr ordered a full-time armed guard in the commissioner's office, and we'll blame the cost on Eckstein. Okay? Now, on December 9th, Judge Durr goes a step further. He holds a press conference. His actions, he holds a press conference, good deeds for the public. Jim Eckstein's agitated and aggressive. There may be physical confrontation. One cannot exhaust any caution. This is Judge Durr in this instance. Do judges hold press conferences? Almost never. Never happens. Are judges allowed to participate in politics out of their own election year? No, they are not. January 2013, Eckstein is accused of speaking about a public issue at a public meeting without permission. An internal complaint was lodged. An outside law firm was brought in to investigate wrongdoing. The firm was hand-selected by Mike English, approved by Bill McCarrier and Dale Pinkerton, with $5,000 cap. $4,700 of that cap was spent on the complainant. It's in the county's bill. Just go to Jack McMillan's office. It's in the bill. May 2013, a report was released on the county and alleged discrimination, and I was absolved of all 3 counts. I was found innocent on all 3 counts. Solicitor Mike English advised this report should be sealed and kept from the public. The public doesn't have the right to know the truth. I refuse the right to keep a copy of the report. Bill McCarrier and Dale Pinkerton wanted to cover up the report's findings. My attorney, Larry Rogers, prepared a court injunction to have the records not sealed. The commissioners and the solicitor were served notice to appear in court the next day in front of Judge Yeager. They decided in an hour and a half that they wouldn't want to go to court and gave me the report. Okay, it cost me $900. There again, just, rape Jim Eckstein for all you can of money. And it's, okay? This brings us back to the start. Why is Dale Pinkerton and Bill McCarrier so anxious to do away with the jury commissioners? Dale Pinkerton has a court case pending in county courts against me. 4 Butler County judges are involved in this case. 4 judges. 2 sitting county commissioners. Judge Durr is supervising or picking my jury pool. The same judge that held a press conference to demean, belittle me, and slander me. Now, does that sound like a fair process to you? It sure in the hell doesn't seem fair to me. The difference between this and Luzerne County is the judges were dealing with teens with very little representation. So we'll see how this goes when they're dealing with my team and an adult, okay? I'm done.
Yeah. I attended this morning the United Way campaign, and it was their final, their year-end report, and it says, give, lead, and teach, creating opportunities and inspiring hope for a better tomorrow was their 2012 and 2013. I'm sorry. It was what they proposed this year, and they did very, very well this year. And the United Way helped a tremendous. I don't think there is one resident in this whole county who doesn't have a friend or a neighbor or a relative who doesn't get help through the United Way. And I'd just like to thank, and in this they are thanking the companies and the people who gave to United Way. And in last night's Butler Eagle, they put in an insert which shows all the people and the organizations that did such a good job. And my hat's off to Leslie Oshie and the board, and of course all our employees for all they do for all the people in Butler County. And I apologize, it's a great organization, and I believe that as all of us could support it, it would be even better and we'd be able to help more people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. I have no report. We'll suspend the minutes for a conference time with the media. Kayla?
A few questions about the real estate transaction. Is there an existing structure on the property that you have to pull down?
There is a mobile home on the property.
There's also a small garage.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, there is a garage there also.
Okay, and then in the future, would you eventually like to own all of your magisterial district judges' offices?
Not necessarily, from my opinion anyhow. I don't know what the other two feel, but some of them we we get really a great rate of rent rate. For instance, in Shakora, the municipality owns the building and they give us a tremendous rate on it, on what it is offhand. And of course, we own the facility that Kevin O'Donnell's in. We own the one that Judge Schaefer's in. We own the one in Slippery Rock. The other ones we do not own. I don't know whether it would be an economic advantage. I think each one of them has to be looked at individually.
Kayla, I'd just like to add to that. One thing, the courts don't have as the population increases in different areas, sometimes the courts move that to a different area. So if we own every one, the trouble is then you can't move it. Now obviously, something like Cranberry, we discussed that thoroughly before we made the move. Cranberry is growing and it's not going anywhere. And like Butler Township wouldn't be going anywhere. Okay, but that's why we can't own all of them, is because of that issue. And we have no control over that. The state does.
Okay, thank you, that's all, Commissioner.
Yes. Commissioner Pinkerton, do you have any response to the Commissioner's accusation of why we wanted to remove the jury commissioner's post?
I did it really because of financial reasons for the county. It saves us money. And I do believe that the court system can take care of that particular program without hiring anybody. And it is not selected by the judges. It is a random out of all the voters of Butler County when they do it. And when it comes to picking jurors, it is done by the attorneys. It has nothing to do with judges or anyone else. The two attorneys, or whoever the attorneys are the people who pick the people that would be on the jury. I personally feel that, and I tried a while ago to eliminate, and the more we talk to other counties and so forth, there are a lot of counties that are thinking exactly the same way we were. And I believe the number is 42, but I'm not positive of that, so don't hold me to that figure. But I do believe it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, Commissioner McCarrier, what's your, well, Commissioner Eckstein, you said you were...
Well, I'd like to say, everybody remembers the PA State Lottery was infallible in the 70s, and Nick Perry waited the damn balls. So, I mean, who would have thought that somebody go into that room and wait the balls and have that corruption scandal? So, as far as him saying that, you know, there's people involved, they select a poll, they select a jury poll, it can be tampered with, okay? I'm going on trial. I want a fair jury, and I want everybody else in the county to get a fair jury. The PA lottery can't be fixed either, but they did it. Okay?
Commissioner McCarrier, do you have any response to the Commissioner's accusation that you conspired with Judge Durr to have him slandered and potentially removed?
Well, as usual, Commissioner Eckstein's remarks were ridiculous, untrue, unfounded. As Dale said, Judge Durr has nothing to do with picking jury commission or juries. This is done by a computer. Can it be fixed? I guess everything can be fixed. I suppose if you wanted to, you could probably bribe jury commission. I'm sure the ones we have now could not be bribed, but I'm sure there are instances of where that has happened. I don't think it's ever happened in Butler County, nor do I think it ever could. But I think there are places that are corrupt and that could happen.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. We have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Even with a Dawn Raisley case.